Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on YouTube at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale, and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. We're streaming live all across the world on 3FM 92.7 on Facebook and X. And you can also share your thoughts and views, comments, and opinions with us as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Remember, we're also live all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. This evening, the Electoral Commission is to rerun district-level elections to break the tie in 20 electoral areas. We have the details of these electoral areas for you here on Hot Edition. Also, Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana, TUSAG, declares a nationwide strike over poor conditions of service. We have details of that. Also, academic calendar for pre-tertiary level resumes this week without some 10,000 teachers who have left the shores of Ghana for greener pastures. This evening, we'll take a look at what some educationists say is a looming crisis for the educational sector. We have these plus the latest in sports, entertainment, and business over the next 60 minutes. I am Alfred Ocansey. Let's get into the details now here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. The Electoral Commission has announced it will organize a rerun of the December 19 district-level elections to break the tie in 20 electoral areas where we understand the persons who won all got the same results. So this is what the Electoral Commission statement, which if you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927, you'll see that shortly displayed there. Now, the Electoral Commission wishes to inform the general public that in accordance with the district level elections regulations 2015 CI 89, it will conduct elections to break the ties in election results recorded during the just ended district level elections. Following the collation of results from the just ended district level elections, 20 electoral areas for assembly members and 41 electoral areas for unit committee members across the country produced the same results for the contestants. As a result, there will be the need to conduct runoff elections in these areas to break the ties to determine the winners in these electoral areas. The said elections will be held on Tuesday, 9th January, that's just a week away from today, at all the polling stations in the electoral areas where the ties were recorded. The list of electoral areas involved in elections to break the ties as attached, according to the Electoral Commission, we are first in the voter region areas like Afajato South, the electoral area specifically that the runoff elections will be taking place is Legba, Klikbo, and then also in Esojaman, Etiwau East, Ekwapim South, all these areas in the eastern region, and then also Kwabibrim, Ekwapim North, Fantiakwa South, all in the eastern region, also had results of some two persons getting the same results, topping the elections there. And so there has to be a tie to break, and then also have one person declared. In the Hafo region, it's Nafo North, there was a tie there. In the Bono region, Sunyai East, there was a tie there as well. If you go to the Bono East region, Techima North, there was a tie. OT region in Kwanta South, there was a tie. In the Northern region, Nantong, there was a tie. In the district level elections, Savannah, the Central Tong area, there was a tie. In the Upper West region, Nadoli Khalil, there was a tie which has to be broken. Also in the Upper East region, Bosa South, Bosa North, Bogatanga East, there were ties in all these areas. And so the Electoral Commission will have to organize elections to break the tie on December 9. Also in the Ashanti region, Echumawa Bija South, Setra East, all these areas had elections, people with ties, and so has to be broken. Also in the Western region, Prestia, Honi Valley, Esikado, Ketan, Efia Kwesimentem, Ahanta West, and then in Takwa and Shayem as well. All these areas recorded ties with the Electoral Commission will have to break. In the Greater Accra region, the Korle Klote area, also had a tie which has to be broken. And if you go to the central region in Fantiman and then Awutu-Senya East, all these areas have ties that have to be broken according to the Electoral Commission's information that's given to us right now. So that's what's happening. If you just joined us, the Electoral Commission has issued a statement which came through minutes ago indicating that it will organize a rerun of the December 19 district level elections to break the tie in 20 electoral areas. Now, they have indicated that they've had to do this in accordance with the district level elections regulations 2015 CI 89, which demands that this has to be done. Dr. Richard Fiadomo is the president of the Chamber of Local Governance, is joining us. Dr. Fiadomo, thank you. Good evening for joining us here on Hot Edition. Now, this is what has happened now with the Electoral Commission talking about these 20 electoral areas that have recorded the tie. At least that's for the district, that's for the assembly members. And then for the unit committee members, we have 41 electoral areas recording tie. What does this tell you?
Yeah, thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you and your cherished listeners. I think clearly there has to be a representative of the people. So once there is a tie, the Electoral Commission will have to take the necessary steps to ensure that those ties are broken, and I'm sure that is what necessitating the rerun of the election in those areas. So obviously the elections is going to be between the two persons or three persons who got a tie, and then the people will be given the opportunity to, as it were, select one of them. So it is not too good for such things to be happening, because at the end of the day, it stretches the resources of the Electoral Commission. But be that as it may, once there is a tie, the Electoral Commission is enjoined by law to ensure that they get representatives of the people in those respective electoral areas.
And I'm looking at this, and because you are vexed in the local governance issues in this country, is there a precedence to a situation like this?
Yeah, in the past, we have not seen such ties, and you see that this particular year, the interest and people who filed for the assembly elections was so high, and we had high numbers, and that is why we're getting these kinds of ties as compared to the past. And once you have high numbers and the people who are voting are also a few, the numbers keep reducing. So that is why the ties became, some places got the ties that we have seen, but it has not been that common in the past compared to what we have seen in this particular assembly election, to the extent that you have even a dead person being elected as an assembly member. So I would have wished that the Electoral Commission would have included a Petia where the dead man won as an assembly member. Even though he won, necessarily he can't not represent the people, so there was a need for that. So I want to believe they will add that particular one to the tie. But with respect to the tie, this is the first time we are experiencing such high numbers after elections have held.
I see. And now I talk about the district level elections itself and then and its impact on local governance. We've seen consistently over time the lack of interest and then also the apathy that has characterized this entire process. Now there's going to be a tie. We struggle to get people even to come out on December 19 to vote during that election nationwide. Now, how do you envisage that the situation is going to play out with respect to the patronage or people coming out to vote on this? That's next week, Tuesday, on this tie that we have seen now.
Yeah, technically the numbers are going to be low because people who did not vote for any of the people who are in the tie now may not go and vote in the upcoming elections on Tuesday. And so clearly the numbers are going to be low. Now it is going to be between those who had the ties, their supporters, or those who voted for them. They will have to go and want to prove a case. And of course, if the aspirants go the extra mile, now the time given to them is virtually short. We are looking at just about a week. So they may not be able to go and campaign vigorously to get more people to come and vote. So for the voter turnout is going to be low because the interest will be among those who voted for the persons who got the tie. So for sure the turnout will be low, and that is to be expected.
But what should be done or can be done to address this expectation, which is uncontestable?
Yeah, I have always said that the assembly elections are local elections. And if you are going for local elections, then there are local issues that became germane for the people to want to go and vote. We have a situation whereby the assembly members that we go to queue for and vote for, the unit committee members we go to queue and vote for, they are not paid for the job that they do. So if they are not paid for the job that they do, then the institution for which we are voting for them to go and represent us, that institution must be seen to meet the needs of the people within the local area. So when we are voting for an assembly member, we are voting because we want to see the benefits that the assembly itself gives to us. If our roads are bad, our drains are choked, and all those kinds of things, and we tell the assembly does next to nothing. Yet, because the law is on their side, they are quick to collect property rates from us, business operating permits, and all kinds of monies from us. And if we don't even pay, because the law is still on their side, they are able to send us to court, and the court compels us to pay. But yet, when those monies go, they do not account to the local people on how they use those resources. So clearly, if I live in an area, the drains are choked and nothing seems to be happening, I don't feel the impact of the local government authority in my area, then why do you expect me, or what will motivate me to take part in the local government elections? I will not go. But the contrast between the national election is that one, it is an interest that you have that will give you the benefit. If I vote for my preferred presidential candidate, I'm likely to get an appointment. I'm likely to get a contract. I'm likely to get a scholarship to go and study abroad. So there is an interest for me to go and vote. But when it comes to the local elections, there is no interest. It is rather the benefit that I get. That is what will instigate me to go and vote, not because the assembly does nothing for me. So I do not have any interest in what happens. So clearly, as for the turnout, it will continue to be low. What we need to do is to get the district assemblies to become socially accountable, to get the district assemblies to be accountable in the way they use our resources. We are in this country. Very soon, the Auditor General will come up with how the assemblies are appropriating or misappropriating the resources that they collect from us. And you see that the rot continues to grow. And so if you are paying money and it is just going to people's pocket, and Auditor General will come and report and nothing else is seen to be done, and every year it becomes worse, my brother, I will not go. I'm not motivated to go and vote. So let us deal with the local government institutions, get them to be accountable, let them to appropriate our resources very well, let it benefit us. Let's see local development, and once we see benefit, we'll go and queue to vote because we are seeing what the assembly is doing for us. Until that is done, the assembly member or district level election will continue to be low because in that election, it is benefit that begets interest, unlike the national election where interest rather begets a benefit. So that is what it is. So let's get the assemblies to be accountable to the people, and the people will be motivated to vote in the election. If not, I dare say that it will continue to go down, and every 4 years we'll be lamenting, but we have to deal with the root cause, get assemblies to be accountable, use the resources that they collect from the people wisely, and let the people see development. And once we see development, we will go and vote because we are seeing the impact of the local government authority in our lives.
It's a very, very important point that you're making. In fact, while we're talking on Facebook now, Emmanuel Asante says, good evening. And your guests have just said it right. I only got to know my district assembly and who is in charge as the assemblyman there when I received my property rate notice 2 days ago, and I decided to go and inquire. So it only just comes to the point that you were making, that they're only interested in collecting revenue and also not doing much to improve on the situation on the ground. So thank you for your thoughts on this.
The pleasure is mine.
Dr. Richard Fiadamo is the president of the Chamber of Local Governance, joining us there here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Remember, we're live on Facebook at 3FM 927, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale, and also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. The Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana, TUSAG, they have declared a nationwide strike effective Monday, January 8, 2024. The move is to back their demand for full compliance with retirement rollover date for members. Now, TUSAG is livid with management of some technical universities to address the issues despite several engagements. In a statement, the association cited the management of the Accra, Koforidua, Sunyai, and Cape Coast technical universities for failing to implement their rollover conditions for qualified personnel, leading to premature termination of the employment of some of the members of the Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana. The strike action includes the following: outright cessation of all administrative and professional services, including all services for both fresh and continuing students, withdrawal of service at all units, section, department, faculties, centers, directorates, halls of residence, finance, ICT services, fiscal development, facilities, management and services, and so on. Also, all other main and general services at the office of the Vice Chancellor, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, etc. of all ceased as we speak. So that's what's happening. And let's go on to the telephone now and get a bit more into this. Joseph Mensah Oti Esrifi is the national president of the Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana. Mr. Esrifi, thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition. I see that you've cited specific technical universities for not adhering or failing to implement the rollover conditions for qualified personnel. Accra, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Cape Coast. Is that to say that the other technical universities have adhered to this?
Yes, thanks for having me. Exactly the reference that you are making. The remaining 6 technical universities, i.e. Boga, Wa, Tamale, Kumasi, Takrade, Ho, are adhering to the conditions laid in our condition of service for rollover of the retirement period for the eligible staff. That is exactly the situation as we speak.
So if we talk about rollover of the retirement date for your members, what does it mean? What are you asking for?
The rollover date for eligible members who are retiring explains that when a staff of a public university attains the compulsory retiring age of 60, that person does not exit from the system on the date of the attainment of the compulsory retiring age. However, the person stays into the expiration of the academic calendar. So if myself, my date of birth is 17th December, and I work at Takwari Technical University, and the academic calendar for the 2023-2024 year starts from January and ends from June 2023 and ends in June 2024, I do not exit the system when I attain 60 years on the 17th of December 2023. However, I wait to the expiration of the living or the existing academic calendar, i.e. in June 2024. That is the essence.
I see. And what how many of your members across the 10 technical universities are going to be or expected to benefit from this?
For the technical universities, it's applicable to senior members. As far as I am concerned, senior members. For the traditional universities, it's applicable to all members. In fact, if you read the referred provisions, i.e. 14B and 34, the 14B says that it's applicable to senior members. But if you read the condition of service applicable to the traditional universities, it's applicable to every staff, including professors, administrators, security officers, conservative laborers, everybody who is a staff of the public university. So at our end, insofar as you are a senior member, and a senior member at a technical university refers to persons with a qualification of a master's and above, whether you are a teaching staff or a non-teaching staff. So at our end, every senior member is entitled to a rollover, which means that you do not exit the system at the attainment of the compulsory retirement age of 60. However, you exit at the expiration of the living academic calendar.
I see, but why have the managements of Accra, Koforidua, Sunyani, and Cape Coast Technical Universities failed to implement these rollover conditions?
For want of a direct response, that will be much addressed properly by the said technical universities. However, as unions, we have been engaging these said technical universities over the last 3 years. I took over in 2021 March, and we've had several meetings with their representatives, their vice chancellors. We've written to them. We've met them one-on-one at the premises of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. The last letter that we wrote is referred in our communique dated 14th December 2023, which we reminded them of the consequences of the non-compliance, as indicated in our letter, that persons are being compared to retired ahead of their retirement period as contained in the Constitution of Service Persons are losing remunerations as a result of those non-compliance. Persons' rights under our constitution are being violated, and there are no compensations being given to them. And between 14th of December last year and now, we didn't receive any response from the Vice Chancellor whom we wrote the letter to. So the immediate cause of this particular action is a report that we had from Cape Coast Technical University, that staff who are expected to benefit from the rollover and exit the system on the 17th of July 2024 have been asked to exit the system by 31st of the previous month, that is December, meaning that from January up to December, they'll be losing 7 months of their entitlement. And we feel that as a union, we've gone past our elastic limit, and it's important that we activate the provisions given to us by the labor law 159B, and then and protect the rights of our members.
So, how long is this strike going to last, and what is going to get you to call it off?
Insofar as these conditions are not implemented by the 4 remaining conditions, the rest of us will not return to work, will not report for work beginning Monday. I'm told Monday is a holiday. If that is confirmed, from Tuesday, 9th of January, we will not go to work at all. It's not a matter of going to work and not working, but not going to work at all. However, it is important to make this particular statement that the Minister of Education has engaged the National Executive Committee wanting to mediate in the matter. The Director General of Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, that is Professor Jinapo, engaged the National Executive Committee of TUSAC earlier this morning, and subsequent to it has issued an invitation for us to meet him on Thursday at 12 noon. We've also received similar invitation for a Zoom meeting with the Vice Chancellors, the entire Vice Chancellors of the technical universities on Thursday at 9 a.m. Cape Coast Technical University has also responded to our letter and claiming that portions of our statements do not reflect the circumstances at their end, and that they have also invited us for a meeting with them on Friday. We want to believe that this speed with which the stakeholders are inviting us to meet, it is genuine, and it is out of evolution to get a resolution to the matter, but not to respond to the heat and the tension that is emanating from our strike. We want to believe that, especially on the part of GTEC, and insofar as the National Executive Committee is concerned, immediately we get a truce. Truce meaning that the conditions laid in the said provisions are applied by the technical universities. We write and then call off our strike, and then we preserve the academic calendar.
What do you say to those who make the point that if 6 out of 10 technical universities have complied with this rollover, it's just these 4 who have failed to comply, you declaring a nationwide strike will be unfair to the 6 technical universities who have complied with this directive?
You see, the conditions or the provisions laid in the condition of service, that's the rollover conditions, are not institution specific. They are not for one institution, say Takrady or for Cape Coast Technical University. They are not institution specific. They apply to all technical universities. That's the first point. Number 2, the individuals who are affected, all the eligible members at Accra Technical University, all the eligible members at Sunyani Technical University, Koforidua Technical University, are members of our association, and they are affected members of our association, and they are losing their remuneration, and their rights are being violated, and there is an obligation imposed on us as union executives to protect their rights. And we should not forget that a matter of retiring age is individual. It's not en bloc where we say all of us are attaining retirement age at a specific date, and that when the management is not abiding by the implementation of those conditions for us, then we can go on strike. No, at a point in time, you find 4 or 5 persons retiring. You will find about 10 or 15 persons retiring. So we do not have to wait for all the 10 technical universities for our rights to be trampled upon before we speak up. Even when it is one person, we must protect the rights of the person. And it is protected by law. That we don't discount the right of minority when it is being infringed upon. So I find that argument quite insignificant, especially in our circumstance, especially where these conditions have not been applied to our members for the last 3 years.
Well, we'll see how the coming days will look like. Especially you've indicated that you have a meeting with the Education Ministry and the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, on this. So we'll see how Thursday plays out. We'll come back to you on this. Thank you very much.
I'm grateful, sir.
That's Joseph Mensah Otias Esrifi, who's the national president of the Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana, TUSAG there. Let's take a bit further with issues of education, because everybody talks about losing staff on the nursing front, but there's a crisis slowly building up in the education sector. At least 8 out of 10 trained teachers would leave the shores of Ghana and render their services abroad, giving the opportunity for most of these teachers. The poor conditions of work and disrespect for the teaching profession in Ghana leaves them with no option but to move to developed countries for better remuneration. Ibrahim Abubakar has been assessing the impact of the mass exodus of teachers from Ghana.
As of October 2023, as many as 10,000 teachers in the country had left to teach in developed countries. This figure, disclosed by the National Teaching Council, may even be more.
The mass exodus of our teachers outside the country has not been captured as it is now. The number is increasing by the day. As at October, we know of 10,000 that are left. That is accounted for. And for those who did not pass through our borders, we could hardly put a figure on. So after October, those who have left, we cannot account them for.
But for financial constraints, Abubakar Bansi would have joined his colleagues who recently traveled to the United Kingdom to render their teaching services. The father of 3 has been in the teaching profession for more than 2 decades and currently teaches at the Armed Forces Senior High Technical in Kumasi.
There's reason we are many. So if you are many, people are going. What's the worry? As I'm standing now, because of money, I would have gone. Because if I should go, the education of my children, I can cater for my children. I have to eat a better listen. Now, if a stranger come to my, in fact, common food, I'm afraid. I'm praying that he should go ill as ill because the condition of life is not easy.
A few weeks after writing her licentiate exams, Priscilla went for a recommendation letter to aid in a process of traveling abroad. The 25-year-old is of the view that the teaching profession is not respected in Ghana.
In our country, Ghana, they devalue teachers. When I travel to other countries, though, they put value on teachers, so they will increase my salary. So why should I stay in Ghana? I have to leave the country for a better place.
Although Ghana is battling with a teacher shortage, most trained teachers are planning to travel abroad in search of better conditions of service. Firdaus is in her second year as a teacher trainee, but has already made up her mind to leave the country after she graduates. To her, the condition of service for the Ghanaian teacher is not encouraging and enticing enough.
If I have any chance, then I'll go. There are lots of students in Ghana, a lot of students. Some are even completing without getting jobs. So me leaving is not going to make anything for short. There are lots of students.
The high attrition rate in the education sector poses a threat to the future of the nation's education and development.
You have very qualified teachers who are leaving the shores. You have teachers over the time who have been at the grassroots, have come to understand the nuances. Apart from the academic work, the morality of our students today, what we need to impact, what measures to use to curb certain behaviors. Now, it is the bulk of these teachers that are leaving the shores of the country. And when that happens, education tends to suffer. the conditions are not just favorable. And the teacher today is worse off than before.
At a recent graduation ceremony at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the Asantini Otumfuo Osei II also raised concern over the mass exodus of professionals from Ghana.
It is without a doubt a disheartening spectacle to bear witness to a substantial exodus of our health professionals, teachers and graduates, all departing our shores in pursuit of more promising opportunities abroad.
That's of Otumfuo Osei to the ending. That report by my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar details the exact situation of the exodus of teachers from this country. Now, let's go on to the telephone lines now. Dr. Peter Patiante is the Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFES, and then also Charles Aheto Chega is a former Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for joining us, and a Happy New Year to both of you, please.
Happy New Year to you too.
Great.
Happy New Year, Fred.
Great. Now, let me start off with you, Dr. Peter Patiante, for good reason, because I know you've been doing quite some work on the exodus of teachers from Ghana. How bad is the situation?
Thank you very much, and good evening once again to your viewers and listeners. I think it's a very serious issue because we spend a lot to train teachers in this country. Those on the field, we've invested a lot in them in terms of business professional development and so many other things that we always organize for them to go through. So we've built capacity, and then one day you wake up and these people are leaving. If you look at the number of people who have had to get some kind of clearance from the National Statistics Council, the last conversation that we had, the NCC registrar put it around 100,000. I think by this time we should go beyond that, because personally, I know a lot of young guys who have completed their programs and they needed to be in the classroom, but they have left the shores of this country, and it is worrying. It is very worrying, and if we don't take steps to try and rectify these challenges, it's going to create a very messy situation for us as we go into the years coming.
I see. Now, Mr. Ajiga, considering how serious the situation is, at least based on the details that Dr. Peter Patiante has just given, has there been enough response to stem this tide?
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to everybody. Honestly speaking, I don't think that we are paying attention to the issue of teacher exodus. We know that historically we have had teacher exoduses in this country, but currently I don't think we are paying enough attention to the issue of teacher exodus, which is actually blaring in our faces. So I think that it is not too clear whether we don't understand it or whether we are not too sure what we are doing or what we have to do to reverse the trend. And we have left it. And that's what's happening. The whole matter has been left for faith to decide.
If you say it's been left, is it to say that the managers of our education space have just thrown their hands into the air in despair?
I think that they have not considered the matter seriously, because I believe that at the back of their minds, they believe they also have a backup plan that can also address some of these exodus that is taking place. Besides, they have not even taken a very good look at the possible underlying factors that are driving teachers away. And I think that the education sector has run into too many changes over time, and we have placed a lot of things away from the Ghana Education Service, which was established as a teacher organization, and put it into the Ministry of Education, which is in fact a civil service organization, and causing them to try and manage teachers when they have no clue. So that is the whole problem happening. They don't have a clue, and they cannot even discuss it with the Ghana Education Service, because they have literally destroyed the system, and so the whole system has gone AY, and everybody is doing what they like.
All right, so it's clearly about issue of policy which has contributed to this.
Yeah, tell me about an issue of policy which has contributed to this, because now we are not managing our teachers properly. We are not taking a very good look at what teachers really need, both as incentive for work and also output in terms of what kind of skills we want them to have and how we are going to get them to process those things. We are not doing that. We think that licensure is giving us anything. No, it is not. So you need the whole, and I've said somewhere, and somebody has argued me, you need the whole of the National Teachers Council to be taken out of the whole ministry system and brought back to the Ghana Education Service for teachers to manage teachers. I mean, you can't have civil servants managing teachers. It is impossible. And that's the kind of situation that we are having, even though you have somebody who is a teacher himself leading that. No, you need a very concerted arrangement within the GES system, because he is not linked up to the Director General. The Director General doesn't give him instructions. But if you were linked to the Ghana education system, some of all of these things will be working out in a kind of a cooperative manner to ensure that things work.
I see, Dr. Ptanti, I bring you at this point, that's especially on the issue of the proper management of teachers, which, according to Josiah Tochiga, he's headed the GES before, says that's where the problem is. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I think you recently heard the Minister of Education saying that we don't have a problem with shortage of teachers, right? And that is the thinking of those who are supposed to come out with policies to deal with this problem. And that's why I agree with my senior brother that truly there's not been any effort at all to look at this situation and then proffer policies to deal with it. There's not been any effort at all to look at the total management of the teaching profession in this country and find ways and means to ensure that the teacher is given not so much, but something that will make the teacher comfortable. I think about 2 or 3 years ago in Cape Coast, there was an announcement of a teacher policy that was being developed. I don't know the extent of that particular document, how far they've gone with that particular document, but these are things that we need to put in place and have a comprehensive look at how we are handling the profession in this country. Other than that, all these investments that we keep making in the education sector, we are paying this, we are building this, it's all going down the drain, because the center of each of these policies is the teacher. And if the teacher is not taken care of, the teacher is not managed well, if the teacher is not feeling good, comfortable in his or her working environment, there's no way that the teacher will be able to give his or her best. You look at the total psychological makeup of a teacher in a rural area, you understand that there's no way that this teacher is going to give his or her best. And that is what leads to the kind of students that comes out every year in our educational system.
And talk about solutions, because Charles Tochiga made a few proposals, but from your perspective as well, what has to be done immediately to address this problem, which you have described as quite alarming?
Yeah, I think the first thing is to get our leaders to understand that this situation is alarming. You see, and most of the times I want to start from that particular point, because they are those who got the power to make the change or the needed modifications that we need in the system. So if they don't see it as a problem, it matters not whatever others are seeing, it will not materialize. So the first thing is that these people who manage our education system should see this problem as an alarming situation. You are paying these kids allowance, you are investing in them, and when they leave, they don't even go to the classrooms to go and teach. They just leave the source of the country and then go and then do other things. So we need to let them understand that there is a problem. Apart from that, we need to sit together, have a national conversation about this. I think that this year, one of the things that we have to have a critical conversation about is the teacher at the center of educational reforms. You see, we've done a lot of curriculum reviews from the basic level to the junior high school, primary, junior high school, and senior high school, I'm told is going to be released this year. And all these things revolve around the teacher. We need to have a conversation, a national conversation about how we are treating the teachers, how we are managing the teachers. And I think this should be before maybe March, so that we have a roadmap as to how these teachers will help in executing or implementing the curriculum that we have developed for the students.
Dr. Petante, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And Ms. Ayatochiga, thank you for joining us on this one. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Charles Ayatochiga is former Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Dr. Peter Patente is Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies, IFS. There's some breaking news just coming through. News we're getting from the OT region is that another person has been shot dead in Nkwanta in the OT region. The area has been reported to be the hotbed of disturbances in the last few weeks, prompting a curfew in the area. At least 12 persons have been killed in the disturbances believed to be land and chieftaincy related. The fresh hostilities come just days after the chair of the Municipal Security Council, Bright Lenwa, announced plans to tighten security following what he says are the fresh twist in the conflict. Now, we're getting information that about 2 months ago, there were some clashes between some ethnic groups in and around Nkwanta. Since then, these issues keep recurring. Now, originally, it was happening in the town, but due to the heavy deployment of security in the town itself, the situation has taken a new dimension. Now it is happening in nearby villages and communities. So that's the information just coming through here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Another person has been shot dead at Nkwanta in the Oti region. The area has been reported to be the hotbed of disturbances in the last few weeks, prompting a curfew in the area. Beyond the Sunday's incident happened in a nearby village, not the town itself where this previous incidents have occurred. So we're monitoring this quite closely. You have a lot more of this on Ghana Tonight on TV3 at 10 p.m. So make a date and join us for a big conversation on this and many others. We're getting to business now, right after this quick break here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Michael Ogbodu is standing by with all the latest in the world of business.
Citizen of Ghana, I have questions for you. Do you have your equity as a Ghanaian, as a people, and as a country? Are we heading in the right direction? Do we have a unified vision that motivates us to success? There is a storm brewing on the horizon, and we are engulfed by dark clouds. I come to you from the new force, the silver lining in that storm, the max that once divided tribes will unite our voices. Imagine what was once hidden will be revealed. Imagine transparent leaders that are accountable to the people. Imagine a new Ghana, a new vision for our great nation. Embrace the new force.
Hello there, welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. Coming up, Ghana Insurers Association justifies new upward motor insurance tariff adjustments, citing recent unfavorable macroeconomic conditions. We'll bring you the details shortly. Please stay with us. Well, thank you for staying with us. Straight into our top story now. President of the Ghana Insurers Association, Alfred Ocansey, has justified his outfit's resolve to adjust motor insurance tariffs for 2024 upwards. The association sought approval from the regulator, the National Insurance Commission, on the minimum tariff for third-party motor insurance, which took effect on January 1. Speaking to 3 Business, Alfred Ocansey cited recent economic challenges, particularly depreciation of the local currency over time, for the new premium charges. We'll bring you that inset shortly. Now, the Institute for Energy Security, IES, fears the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar could hamper an expected marginal drop in price of all petroleum products on the domestic market. This, according to the Institute, even though global oil prices have declined, may not impact positively other local pumps considering the current exchange rate regime. Adam Yakubu is a research analyst with IES.
Obviously, yes, consumers should be somewhat happy, but also be a bit skeptical in the sense that when you do the numbers right from the previous window, which is the end of year, December 2023, you would see that the performance of the cedi at the close of the previous window and at this window that we are going to start, the cedi consistently depreciated. And as you will be aware, we are at the end of the year, a lot of cash repatriations will likely happen. And so the cedi depreciation might continue a little further. But for performance of petroleum products on the international market, you would see that there has been some consistent or continuous decline when it comes to refined petroleum product prices. I take you to the world fuels market where we did observe that in the past 2 weeks, the price of gasoline had gone down by some 1.76%. Gas oil did some 3.44%. LPG did some 0.14%. This followed last window's.
So that was a research analyst with the Institute of Energy Security, IES, Adam Yakubu speaking there. Let's take you now to our earlier story from the president of the Ghana Insurance Association, Seth Aklesi.
We are all very much aware of the macroeconomic conditions that have been persisting for the past couple of years. If you look at 2023, we've gotten inflation go up as much as up to like 54% before coming down reasonably. The cedi had depreciated by close to 22%. And every price in this country, from data to transportation to everything, has increased. The cost implications for businesses is something that everybody is aware of. And for that matter, for insurance companies, we thought it's now a good time to slightly revise our premiums.
So that was the president of the Ghana Insurance Association, Seth Aklesi. Now, away from that, energy strategist at Eureka Energy Solutions, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, is calling for either a review of the complete scrapping of government's Good for Oil program to curb rising fuel prices at the pumps. In his view, the program has not only fallen short of its intended objective, but continuation in its current form risk imposing greater cost on the country than any potential benefits.
We haven't seen Good for Oil impacting the pump prices as we wanted, or as we had anticipated, or as we were made to believe. We haven't seen that. I think the benefits are minimal as compared to the potential cost. So if you weigh the cost, if you do cost benefit analysis, I believe either we have to review it or we should cancel it altogether. And if you want to talk about review, my best bet would be the fact that, if we are capable of doing intergovernmental negotiation, intergovernmental agreement, then I think it's pretty straightforward, and that will deliver us something more substantial, quantifiable than.
So that was the voice of Dr. Yusuf Sulemana. He's an energy strategist with Eureka Energy Solutions, bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports, and Kelvin is on standby.
Well,
Well, it's time for sports here. My name is Kelvin Owusu, and so let's begin from the camps of the senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana, and they've already arrived in Kumasi to start preparations for the 2023 AFCON. Just about 9 players have already made the trip with the team, with the others expected to join this evening. Jordan Ayew, as well as a couple of others, are expected to join later. Also, Mohamed Kudus is expected to be in action for West Ham United this evening against Brighton and Hove Albion before making that trip. Iñaki Williams is also not fully fit and expected to join the team later. Well, several questions were given to Chris Hughton on some confirmation on the reason why he made certain pronouncements and left some players out of the squad, especially Abdul Mumen of Rayo Vallecano. He's had a very stellar campaign this season and was expected to be one of the names in there.
Which was generally a short period, but apart from that, he's generally played regular. Chiku, I think the same, and has been back playing for a while. Salisu's probably the only one of the 3 that's had a longer period out, but this is a player that we value highly.
Well, sorry for the poor insert there from that is Chris Hughton. But Rafa Nadal is expected to be back in action. Well, he is not really happy with his current form and hopes to be very much active for the impending tournament that will be coming up in January 15.
As you can imagine, today was not a statistic that I have been aware of. So I had enough work to just be focused, to come back on court and to remember how to play in a competitive professional match. Having nerves before the match and of course doubts because you don't know how the things going on after such a long time. But things went well, and I am excited to be back again tomorrow.
Well, happy to be back tomorrow and play. So that is from Rafa Nadal. Well, Birmingham CTF sacked manager Wayne Rooney after just 83 days in charge of the championship club. The 38-year-old was appointed on the 11th of October following the controversial decision to dismiss John Eustace with Blues set on the table. Since then, they've slipped to 20th after a 3-0 loss to Leeds United on Monday evening. Now let's take a quick look at some results from the games, and only one game has been played. Rayo Vallecano defeated Getafe by 2-0. At 7:30 p.m. in the Premier League, West Ham United against Brighton. In the Spanish La Liga, Real Sociedad against Deportivo Alaves. Valencia at 8:30 play against Villarreal, and at 8 p.m. as AC Milan against Cagliari in the Coppa Italia round of 16. That will be all for sports. Our cover comes your way with entertainment.
Thank you very much, Kelvin, for bringing us all the updates in the world of sports. And it's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Now, reggae dancehall superstar Stonebwoy is thankful for a successful end of year 2023. Giving his assessment on the music industry, the hero artist said 2023 has been a good year for the creative sector in general, adding that Ghanaian musicians continue to shine on many international stages, making Ghana and Africa proud. Now, 3 Entertainment's Nafti Ba caught up with the Manoji crooner and put this together.
Ghanaian reggae and dancehall act Stonebwoy had an incredible year under review. In 2023, the Afro-pop superstar released his highly anticipated project, The Fifth Dimension, which was music industry. The hero artist said 2023 has been a good year for the creative sector, adding that Ghanaian musicians continue to shine on international stages, making Ghana and Africa proud.
In 2023, what would you say is the biggest thing that happened to the Ghanaian music industry?
Me filling up the stadium and going on tour and selling all the venues
and my fellow brothers and sisters, musicians, also doing the most and amplifying Ghana music, and Ghanaian consumers also being very more conscious of consuming more Ghana music and pushing Ghanaian arts, creative arts and culture to the highest. So, yeah, man.
So you think 2023 has been a good year for the industry as a whole?
Of course. We've recorded so many heights, and that's what I mentioned. So it's a beautiful moment, it's a beautiful time.
So we're moving into 2024. Yeah. I mean, what do you think we can do to build on the success we chopped in 2023?
Yeah, first and foremost, we just have to pray for life, and we pray for investments, and we pray for more, creative prowess to be able to navigate the talents that we all have, and eventually have in our minds that we're doing it for Mother Ghana. We're doing it to uplift a people, a nation, and inspire those who are coming after us. We give thanks to God for another end of year. I'm only grateful. We did a stadium, and history in the making. That's a big deal. For me personally, it feels like they always say there's no dream that is impossible. Just put your mind to it, do your homework well, and it's definitely achievable.
And also, Guinness World Record Cookathon attempt by Ghanaian chef Abdul Razak Faliatu is underway in Tamale in the northern region. Chef Faliatu's attempt for the longest cooking marathon by an individual began on the eve of the new year 2024. She aims to cook for an outstanding 120 hours to break the current Guinness Cookathon record held by Irish chef Alan Fisher, who cooked for 119 hours and 57 minutes. So far, Chef Fila has done 39 hours so far. As at the time of this compilation, since it's a developing event, we'll be sure to share updates as and when they come in. And before I go, 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio, would like to express its profound appreciation and gratitude to all sponsors and patrons for their participation at the 5th edition of its annual 3FM OY party. An appreciation post by 3FM reads: expressing our heartfelt appreciation for your indispensable role in our celebration. Your presence truly transformed the 5th edition of the 3FM OY Party into a spectacular event, and we eagerly anticipate the joy of welcoming you once more. Thank you for making our gathering truly unforgettable. And that will be all the entertainment news here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Thank you for your time. Keep your dial locked on 3FM 92.7. The 3FM Drive continues.